Right now on the Channel 3 News at 5, snow day and the nor'easter isn't done yet. Hundreds of schools closed, streets a slushy mess, power knocked out.
We're tracking outages, parking bans, and road conditions with views from every corner of Vermont.
A pod progress report when the delayed homeless community in Burlington is set to open.
Plus, mobile makeover.
A young entrepreneur is looking to make it big in Vermont, making workable and living spaces out of vans. I'm Haley Morgan, and I'll have more for you on that coming up.
And braving the elements to grab last-minute gifts.
A snowstorm and shopping. Not exactly the perfect combination. I'm Adam Sullivan in West Lebanon. We'll talk to retailers and shoppers coming up.
Snow totals today have ranged anywhere from a couple inches to more than a foot, and we're not done yet. We have the latest in your Max Advantage forecast.
From WCAX Channel 3, the Channel 3 News at 5 starts now.
Thank you for joining us. I'm Darren Perrin.
And I'm Christina Gassford in for Cap. The snow from the nor'easter still coming down tonight.
And it's making travel tricky. Kevin Geis is in Street View 3 right now. You're in downtown Montpelier. What are you seeing?
Darren, Christina, we're currently working our way through downtown Montpelier. We're on State Street, about to pass the State House. Let's take a look live on the roadways. It is definitely slushy out. Some of those parking spots still have not been plowed, but there are plenty of cars waiting, hopefully, to go home for the weekend. The roads at the moment are greasy. They're slick for sure, especially some of the back roads. We were in the Mad River Valley for most of today. No one off the road, but there were plenty of people slipping and sliding all over the place. We spent time on 89 South as well, and the roads are mostly clear in the lower elevations, a little bit more slick in the higher elevations. That's really the difference that we're able to see from the roads. If you're headed up into the mountains, make sure you're ready for that transition from a more slushy road to a more slick, packed snow road. As for here in Montpelier, like I said, definitely slick, but the plows have hit these roads multiple times. According to VTrans roads report for the afternoon, conditions are variable statewide. And for the latest on this winter storm moving through our region, we're going to go to Jess Langlois. Hi, Jess.
Hey, Kevin. I am out here in the WCAX Orchard at our studio in South Burlington. One of the spots that we haven't seen as much of the higher end snow totals today, but we have certainly still seen snow across the area, enough to coat the grass here. We're up to 2 inches now. The latest measurement at the Burlington Airport, just a little over 2 inches there. And you notice across the board, we've been seeing some of this very heavy, wet snowman snow, very good snowball snow with this. It's also weighed down some of the power lines, mainly across southern Vermont, Windsor, Windham County, and we're not done with the snow yet. We're going to continue to see that over the course of the evening. For now, we're seeing some steady but not too heavy snow in the Burlington area. One thing worth noting, Kevin was talking about how the roads aren't as bad in the lower elevations right now, but over the course of the evening, we will see the temperatures dropping and expect travel to become slick over the course of the evening, even in the areas that haven't seen it so far. We're going to continue to see some messy conditions over the course of tonight and into tomorrow morning. This is a longer duration event, and for the latest on that and the forecast, I'm going to send things over to Dan now in the studio.
Well, thank you, Jess. As expected, a wide range in totals across the region, from places in the Champlain Valley, which have only picked up 2 to 3 inches, to some of the higher elevations of central and southern Vermont, where they are now over a foot. Snow continues to fall outside and will continue to do so through the night tonight into the day tomorrow. So additional accumulation is certainly expected. Shrewsbury now 13 inches, Proctorsville, Moortown Common 10 inches, Rochester. We've seen some power outages in Windsor County at 9 inches. Once you get into the Champlain Valley, it's been a slushy wet mix. 3 inches in St. Albans, Burlington 2.1, but even slushy roads can be slippery out there. And as temperatures continue to drop a little bit tonight and the snow picks up, we're still likely to see some slippery roads through the day tomorrow. Now, latest radar shows we've still got some steady snow bands moving from south to north across the region, and we'll continue to fill in as we go through the night tonight. Some of the heaviest totals have been in our southern counties here. We're still seeing some steady, moderate snow and likely some higher accumulations getting into the southern Green Mountains as we go through the rest of the evening and into the overnight. Now, the winter storm warnings continue across our region through 1 o'clock tomorrow. Heaviest snow between now and about 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. Still expecting about another 2 to 6 inches across the northern third of Vermont, and those higher elevations, which have already gotten walloped with some heavy wet accumulation, could still pick up an additional 6 to 10 inches as we go through the overnight tonight. So snow will continue. Periods of snow expected. Temperatures, though, only upper 20s and low 30s. We will see a little more snow tomorrow morning and then tapering off to snow showers through the afternoon. Temperatures around 36 degrees. We'll have a lot more on the snow, what to expect heading through the start of the weekend, coming up in a few minutes.
Dan, thank you. Burlington says there will not be a parking ban tonight. Winooski's overnight parking ban continues from 11 p.m. tonight until 7 a.m. tomorrow. And the city of Plattsburgh says its parking ban takes effect at midnight in all city streets until 6 a.m. They ask you keep an eye on the snow ban lights. Any car in violation of the parking ban will get a ticket and will be towed at the owner's expense. The city reminds downtown residents that parking is available at the north end of the Durkee Street parking lot.
Well, as Dan said, some outages already, and power crews tell us they are ready to deal with the fallout from the storm.
Our Cam Smith picks up on that part of the story in Killington. Cam?
Yeah, Christina and Darren, as of right now, there are about 4,500 Vermonters without power right now, and Green Mountain Power does cover much of the state, and they say they are working hard to get the lights back on.
That snow is going to keep coming. It's heavy, it's wet, it will keep piling up, and so that could potentially cause some outages.
As the winter storm rolls through the region, crews with Green Mountain Power have been stationed throughout Vermont to respond in the event of a power outage. Kristen Kelly with Green Mountain Power says they've also enlisted help from out of state.
We have crews here from Canada, from Maine, and from Massachusetts to help out. If there is a lot of heavy wet snow, as has been forecasted, it can sit on the trees and power lines. It's like cement. It just is sticky and it weighs it down, and then it can tear down the lines and cause outages.
And the cleanup will take time. Dr. Stanley Shapiro with the Rutland Heart Center says it's important to go slow and take breaks.
Anything that causes you to feel short of breath, develop chest pain, pressure, tightness, feel lightheaded, dizzy, or woozy, these are signs that you really must respect in order to not run into any trouble.
But the snow is also for playing. Skiers and riders took advantage of a snow day at Killington.
It's almost like you got a fresh set of snow every couple hours. So one trail you think is skied off, and then the next trail is like brand new snow again.
It's definitely a really good start to the season, better than past years, I would say.
We got here, and as soon as we saw the powder, when riding off that first ski lift, we were like ready to go. And then, you know, getting down and like skiing our first slope, it was the best feeling ever.
Well, it's mostly quiet here for the night at Killington, and the resort tells me they are ready for a busy weekend on the mountain. We're live in Killington. Cam Smith, Channel 3 News.
Cam, thank you very much. More storm coverage on the way. In the meantime, after 6 months of delays, Burlington's low barrier shelter pod community is set to open in January. The pods have been ready to be used for a couple of months, but the common buildings were delayed due to supply chain issues. Those common buildings include shower and bath facilities and a resource center with access to services for homeless people.
Common buildings starting to arrive on the site as soon as next week, and then we are working very hard now that we have a firm delivery date for those to get them up and operational as early in January as possible.
Champlain Housing Trust will operate the pods, which will house around 30 people.
A new Vermont business is transforming vans, trailers, and other vehicles into living and working spaces. Haley Morgan shows us how.
I felt the immense satisfaction that comes from creating something with your own two hands, and just felt really a lot of pride in what I was doing.
This is Emily Coons. She recently moved to Vermont and started her own business transforming vans and other vehicles into mobile homes or work spaces. She says it all started when she built her own mobile apartment with her dad in Michigan.
It's a work in progress. When 2020 hit, I bought a van and lived in it for about 7 months. And then the next year, I loved it so much I wanted to do it again, but I wanted to build one. So I called my dad and I asked him if he'd be willing to help. and he was on board.
Coons now calls her business Aussie Vans, after that first one she built with her dad. Recently, she helped 2 Vermont nonprofits at a discounted rate. Vermont Fight for Kids and the Vermont Garden Network say working with Coons was much more affordable than big-name companies.
Seeing what the other companies were charging, and that was the thing. Emily was like, hey, you know, because I'm new, I'm trying to build a portfolio. And she was like, I like what you're doing with the foundation, so, I'll work with you a little bit. And I was like, hey, that's great. That's what we need right now.
Vermont Garden Network say they paid Aussie Vans $2,000, about half of what other companies charge. They say before Aussie Vans, they tried working with another company, and it did not go smoothly.
There was just a whole snafu of, like, they didn't send us really specific proprietary items that are supposed to come with the shelving unit. And then we ended up having to delay installing it for over a month. Having someone local that was able to do all of that for us was really awesome.
I'm looking to really branch into local suppliers. I am looking to be a supporter of local businesses, just as local businesses have supported me so far, which has been really fun. I've loved working with the nonprofits.
Coons is looking to expand her portfolio even further, and she hopes that in the future she'll be more well known in this area so she can work with more organizations. In Essex Junction, Haley Morgan, Channel 3 News.
Still to come, crisis at the southern border. Migrants flooding into the U.S. where food and shelter are hard to find.
The Texas border sees a big increase in migrants. And with the pandemic-related Title 42 set to expire, local leaders in El Paso are pleading with Congress for help. I'm Nicole D'Antonio on Capitol Hill with the latest on this deadline.
New leader at the helm of hospitals. Tonight, the CEO of the UVM Health Network joins us. Are hospitals prepared for the triple-demic? And what's he doing to keep and attract staff? We ask.
Plus, the snowstorm slowed traffic and holiday sales.
Due to the snow, I'm not going super far.
That story's next.
Still snowy out there this evening. Take it easy if you have to be out. Cloudy skies, periods of snow, heavy at times here and there for the next couple of hours or so through the overnight. Temperatures holding steady in the low 30s. We'll have more snow to start your Saturday. Let you know what the rest of the weekend has in store. Details coming up.